graph shows f of x is equal to cos x for x being between minus 360 and 360. Let's draw the graphs and find the algebraic equations of f of 2x and f of a half x. Okay, so here we have the graph of cos x, y is equal to f of x, between minus 360 and 360 degrees. If we first of all write f of x is equal to cos x, and then do f of 2x, that means everywhere there's an x, I now replace it with a 2x, so it becomes cos 2x. Now for the graph, let's go to this GeoGebra app, which I'll put in the notes of the video. So here I have the graph of cos x. So if I do f of qx, so if I now make q2, so this will become f of 2x. There's a half. What you can see is the shaded graph helps us to do it. What you will see is, for example, at this particular point at 60, it becomes half the distance, which is 30. Or if you like to take this point here, which is 90, okay, it will become half the distance, which is 45 degrees. Now if we click on here, we can actually see the graph. There we go, we can see the blue graph and see it a bit more clearly. Okay, so what happens is it gets sort of pushed in towards the y-axis, so that the stretch is parallel to the x-axis, and the scale factor is actually a half, so because it's been pushed in. Okay, so if I now draw that here, and let's take the particular point which is 60, so this point here which is 60, okay, its corresponding point on the image will be this point here, and that point there we can see it is a half of 60, which is 30 degrees, or you might like to see it from here. This distance from here to here is 90, half of 90 is 45. Same in the negative direction, the original graph is minus 90, half of minus 90 will be minus 45. Let's take this point here, which is let's take this point here, which is 300. Half of 300 is 150, so that point moves to there. That's what happens when you do a stretch parallel to the x-axis, when it says 2 here. Okay, so the answer is cos 2x. Now let's take it a stage further and look at f of x is equal to cos x, and we'll now do f of half of x. Well, that's just going to be cos of half of x. Let's see what that means using the GeoGebra applet. So we'll go back to the GeoGebra applet, we'll put the q at 1, so that now corresponds to the original green graph. Okay, so if I now move it one way that way, what happens is, instead of moving towards that way, it moves outwards. Okay, so if I take my particular point at 60 degrees, which is there, okay, that's 60, but the corresponding point on the image is going to be that graph there, which is going to be at 120. So what happens, the distance gets doubled. So let's just click down here so we can see that. So when we do cos of half x, the distance gets doubled. Now you might be able to see it more clearly if I do this. So this is my point 60. This point is 60 degrees. And then double that point will take it to that point, which is 2 times 60, which is 120 degrees. If we look at the point here from 0 to 90, the 90 has been moved to 180, 2 times 90, and the same in the negative direction. Here it is minus 90, so it becomes 2 times minus 90, which becomes minus 180. This is what happens when we have a cos of a half x. It's sort of the opposite thing of what you perhaps might expect to happen. So the answer here is cos a half x. Like I said, I'll put the GeoGebra applet in the notes of the video. I hope you've understood, and I thank you very much for watching.